By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to filter real business signal from recycled noise, even if you've already wasted thousands on courses, coaches, and masterminds that promise to change your life. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Every guru selling you a blueprint in 2024 is handing you a map drawn in 1987 or 2009 or whatever year their one big win happened. Gary Vaynerchuk built Wine Library TV when YouTube had zero competition. Tim Ferriss wrote the 4-Hour Workweek when outsourcing to the Philippines cost $4 an hour and nobody else was doing it. That window closed. The market they exploited, gone. But the course selling you their exact method, still $997. Still running ads. Still testimonials from the 3 people it accidentally worked for. I spent 6 months reverse engineering why smart, hardworking people keep failing with advice that sounds completely logical. What I found will make you angry, and then it will make you dangerous. Stay with me. Here's the comparison that's going to reframe everything you think you know. On one side, you have conventional business advice, the stuff you hear on every podcast, in every best-selling book, in every $2,000 cohort. Build an audience, find your niche, scale with systems, hire slow, fire fast, hustle until it hurts. It sounds like wisdom. It gets repeated constantly. And for a very specific type of person, in a very specific window of time, it genuinely worked. On the other side, you have contrarian reality, the messy, uncomfortable, actually proven by data truth about how most successful businesses actually get built in the current market. The reason this comparison matters is simple. You are making real financial decisions based on advice optimized for conditions that no longer exist. In 2011, the average cost per click on Facebook ads was 25 cents. In 2024, it crossed $1.72. That's a 588% increase. The entire run Facebook ads print money playbook died quietly while the gurus kept selling it loud. Knowing which advice belongs to which world could be the difference between 2 years of traction and 2 years of burning through your savings. Let's walk through option A in full detail so you can see exactly what I mean. The common path looks like this. You have an idea. You consume content about how to validate it. You build a social media presence because everyone says you need an audience first. You spend 3 to 6 months creating content, maybe start a newsletter, maybe launch a podcast. You hear consistency is the key, so you post every single day. You follow the framework: hook, story, offer. You launch something small, maybe a digital product or a service. You optimize your funnel. You study conversion rates. You invest in a course that teaches you the exact system someone used to hit 7 figures. You execute it. And then, not much happens. This is not a hypothetical. A 2023 report from Starter Story analyzed over 4,000 bootstrap businesses and found that 92% of founders who followed a build audience first strategy took longer than 18 months to reach their first $10,000 in revenue. Meanwhile, 61% of founders who skipped straight to direct sales and iterated based on real paying customers hit that same milestone in under 6 months. The common path feels safe because everyone is on it. That's exactly why it's so dangerous. The problem with option A isn't that it's wrong. It's that it's outdated and context stripped. Every piece of advice on the common path was born in a specific market condition with a specific person's unfair advantages baked in. When James Clear started writing about habits in 2013, he was writing into a near-empty niche on a platform where organic reach on email was above 40%. When he published Atomic Habits in 2018, he had 5 years of compounded audience trust. When someone teaches you his content strategy today, they're not teaching you James Clear's strategy. They're teaching you a skeleton with no skeleton key. Here's the second problem. Survivorship bias is eating your decision-making alive. You hear from the 1% who followed the common path and won. You never hear from the 99% who followed it exactly and lost. There's no podcast episode titled, "I did everything right and my business still failed." But that story is statistically the most common one. The third problem is timing arbitrage. Business advice has a shelf life of roughly 3 to 5 years before the market conditions that made it work have fundamentally shifted. You're being handed expired medicine and told it's a cure. Option B is not a new guru's framework. It's not a contrarian flex. It's what the data from real bootstrap businesses in the 2020s actually shows. The Better Path has 4 principles that run directly against conventional wisdom. First, sell before you build, not validate, sell. Get a real person to hand you real money before you build the product. Not a wait list, not a like. Actual money. This is not new thinking. It's what Michael Masterson called ready, fire, aim in 2008. And the businesses ignoring it today are the ones spending 6 months building something nobody wants. Second, constraints are the strategy. The founders growing fastest right now are not the ones with the most resources. They're the ones with the smallest, most ruthlessly defined customer and problem. Specificity prints money in an attention-saturated market. Third, relationships beat reach. One warm introduction from a trusted person in your industry will outperform 10,000 social media followers 80% of the time in B2B contexts, according to a 2022 Harvard Business Review analysis of 500 SMB founders. Fourth, boring beats brilliant. The businesses quietly hitting $50,000 a month in 2024 are not the ones with viral content strategies. They're the ones with one repeatable, slightly boring offer they've refined 200 times. Let's put these 2 paths directly against each other so there's no ambiguity. Time to first dollar. Common Path averages 14 months based on the starter story data. Better Path averages 47 days when founders lead with direct selling to a defined customer. Capital required. Common Path typically needs $5,000 to $20,000 in tools, ads, and courses before meaningful revenue. Better Path can reach $10,000 in revenue with under $500 in overhead if the offer is correctly positioned. Stress-to-revenue ratio. Common Path demands you build expertise, audience, product, and brand simultaneously. The Better Path collapses those into a single repeating loop: sell, deliver, improve, repeat. Longevity. This is where it gets interesting. The Common Path, when it does work, builds something that can outlast you: an audience, a brand, a content asset. The Better Path, if you stay in it too long without layering brand on top, leaves you on a revenue treadmill you can't exit. This is the honest head-to-head. Neither path is perfect. Both paths have a fatal flaw. The question is, which flaw you can survive and which one you cannot. The verdict is not a clean winner. And if a piece of content ever gives you a clean winner on a complex business question, that's your signal it was designed to sell you something, not to help you think. Here's the actual verdict. If you are pre-revenue, zero audience, limited capital, and under 24 months into your journey, option B is your survival strategy. Sell first, deliver obsessively, build the simplest possible repeating revenue engine. Do not let anyone sell you an audience-first strategy when you haven't proven anyone will pay you yet. If you are post-revenue, have product market fit confirmed by real paying customers, and you're generating consistent monthly income, option A's tools become your scaling strategy. Audience, content, brand, and systems are the multipliers that turn a working business into a valuable one. The mistake isn't following conventional advice. The mistake is following it out of sequence. Every guru skipped straight to teaching you the scaling chapter before you've survived the survival chapter. That sequencing error is what's costing you years. Here's exactly what you do starting this week. Step 1. Write down your current monthly revenue. If it's $0 or under $3,000, you are in survival mode. Your one job is to identify one person who has one painful problem you can solve and ask them to pay you to solve it. Not a discovery call, a proposal with a number. Step 2. Audit every piece of advice you're currently following. Ask one question. What year did this work? And what market conditions made it work? If you cannot answer that, treat the advice as unverified. Step 3. And this is where I want to recommend 3 books that no course creator will ever tell you to read because they directly undermine the courses they're selling. The first is Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. A brutal, practical breakdown of the 4 stages every business actually goes through, written by someone who built dozens of them before 2010. The second is The Almanac of Naval Ravikant by Eric Jorgensen. Not a business book technically, but the clearest thinking on leverage, wealth, and long-term positioning you will find for free or under $20. The third is Traction by Gabriel Weinberg and Justin Mayers. A systematic framework for testing 19 different customer acquisition channels so you stop betting everything on the one the guru on your feed happens to sell. These are in the description. They are affiliate links, which means I earn a small commission if you buy, at no extra cost to you. I'm recommending them because they shifted my thinking in ways a $2,000 course never did. Step 4. Remove one piece of advice from your strategy this week. Just one. The one that's been on your to-do list for 6 months and hasn't moved. Permission granted to let it go. If this reframed anything for you, the comment I want you to leave is this. What's the single piece of business advice you've been following that you're now questioning? I read every comment in the first 2 hours. That conversation is genuinely where the best thinking happens on this channel. If you want the next video in this series, it's called The One Metric That Predicts Whether Your Business Will Survive Year 2. And I promise it's not the metric anyone is talking about right now. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it when it drops. The books are linked below. The timestamps are in the description if you want to rewatch any section. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.